YouTube! What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another video for Fantasy Good Sports, guys. And today is going to be a video on my top 5 breakouts. Yes, guys, my top 5 breakouts. Now, listen, it might be a lot more breakouts than 5, but that's why I got my boy here, Big Mac. What's going on with you, bro?
What it do, baby?
You know it. So I got him, guys, to give y'all a different perspective. And you know, we always have did videos where early in the season where we give different perspectives and do debates. So guys, make sure you watch the whole video, hit the like button. Also, guys, go check him out. Plug your Twitter, bro.
Come to my Twitter. It's Matt Galloway 34. Matt Galloway 34. You can also find me on fantasyheadliners.com and check me out. Like I said, you know, this is a family thing, man. We making it do what it do for the fantasy football season.
Tell them a little bit about what you do on Fantasy Headliners and stuff like that, and what you got as far as the draft guide you got coming up and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know, it's a multitude of things, but the main thing is right now, yeah, we got a fantasy. The draft guide is coming out. You can log on to the website fantasyheadliners.com, and if I'm not mistaken, it's July the 1st. But just double check on the website, and that's when you can go ahead and pre-order now. But you go on there. I think we're gonna actually release it July the 1st. I got it's a bunch of informative stuff on there. But I've got a particular set of things that I'm focusing on. I don't want to give it away. You just go on there and see. It's a lot of informative information on there. So just check us out.
Right, and guys, you know me. Hey, I got an OnlyFans. Listen, I'm not doing anything weird. I'm not taking off any clothes or anything. I'm providing fantasy football cutting edge content. So guys, if you sign up, it's only $10 a month. If you need help with your draft, it's only $40, and I'm there with you the whole draft. Long draft, short draft, it doesn't matter. But if you're not part of my OnlyFans, it's gonna be $80, guys. $80. So make sure you sign up for the OnlyFans, and this is how you support me as of right now. So guys, with no further ado, let's begin. My first guy that I feel that has a chance to break out this year, and I've done videos on this guy, is David Njoku. Yes, David Njoku. And the reason why, guys, I think David Njoku is going to break out this year is because Deshaun Watson is in his second year of a Kevin Stefanski offense, which is a play-action offense that evolves around the tight end. So I believe David Njoku is going to be going up the seam and getting a lot of targets in the green zone area for touchdowns. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy has 7+ touchdowns this year. I love a lot of people off this offense. This is an offense that I'm also targeting. Go check out some of my other videos where I was talking about stacking this team. But I love Deshaun Watson, I love Nick Chubb, and I love David Njoku. And I think David Njoku, being a 6'5" guy that runs like a 4'5", that's been learning how to play football since he came in, because he was a little green because he had only played a couple years at Miami, right? He was just kind of a young guy, but now I think he's finally coming to his body. Look at him, this guy is bulked up, he's ripped, he's ready for a breakout, guys. So make sure you pick up David Njoku.
Yeah, I like that pick, man. Everything you said, bro, I have to agree with you on that. That offense is going to be phenomenal in Watson's second season.
Yes, sir.
Second season with them.
Yes, you know. Yes, and he's going to get that rest off.
Indeed. So my first guy I want to talk about that's a potential breakout for this season is George Pickens from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we saw flashes of it last season, right? You know, and you also got to take in consideration, you know, he was a rookie, of course, but he was also playing with a rookie QB. All right, now Omar Khan in the offseason, him and the whole staff in Pittsburgh has bolstered this offense from top to bottom, basically. They went and added key pieces to the offensive line. That is going to trickle down and just make this offense run more smoothly. Well, George Pickens showed signs of breaking out last season. He had, if I'm not mistaken, it was over 800 total yards receiving. This year, I think it'd be easy for him to eclipse 1,000. That's not even a question. The ceiling for me, if I had to project, you know, his numbers, I'd say around 1,300 yards and about 8 to 9 touchdowns within it, because like I said, that offense is gonna be balanced, but of course they're gonna, you know, focal point go through the run game, right? But that's gonna triculate, and that's gonna help to open up the wide receiver and the passing game. And I don't want to give away a guy because I think you might have him on your list, but it's a couple of guys on that offense that I think is going to help accentuate George Pickens, and it's going to cause him to have a lot of one-on-one coverage. And with his route running, his skill set, and he's a great 50-50 ball guy. You can throw anything within that catch radius, he coming down with it.
Right.
So that's why I really, really love George Pickens, and I think he's going to have a breakout season.
I love George Pickens. The reason I'm not high on him as you are, and the reason is because it's different types of guys that play positions. They do different types of things. To me, I don't see George Pickens as a guy that's going to command 15 targets and be the wide receiver one. But I do think he's going to make big plays every game. It's going to be double coverage. He's going to jump over two guys and come down with the catch. Does he do that like at a target level where he can be the wide receiver one? No. But is he a top 14 wide receiver? Probably. I just don't see him as being an alpha guy because I don't think this offense is going to ask him to do that. I think they're going to ask him to make some jump ball plays for touchdowns at certain times of the game. So I don't see him running a bunch of routes, slants, out routes, and they just targeting him like a Devontae Adams type. And maybe it doesn't matter about that to be a fantasy viable wide receiver. But that's just how I feel about George Pickens. But I do think this guy is superbly gifted. All right, guys. So moving on to my second guy. And this guy's actually on the same team. And I think, my opinion, there's no disrespect to George Pickens, but I think this guy's going to be better than George Pickens. But, and this kind of could be on a deep sleeper video, but I'm going to call it a breakout. And it's Calvin Austin. Yes, guys, Calvin Austin. The reason why I have Calvin Austin on my breakout video today is because, guys, if you really think about it, he is the most talented wide receiver on this team. And the reason why I say that, if you go back and watch Sauce Gardner in college, and you just go to the YouTube and type in Sauce Gardner versus Calvin Austin. And guys, the guy that gave Sauce Gardner the most fits, and Sauce Gardner was probably an all-pro guy in college. That's how good he was, because he came in the league as an all-pro guy. Calvin Austin gave him fits. Sauce Gardner never gave up a touchdown in college, but he almost did. He pushed Calvin Austin out of bounds at the 2-yard line, and saved his touchdown mark. And you asked him, and you go do some more research. They asked him, "Who's the hardest receiver that you had to guard in college?" He said Calvin Austin. He said that guy is unbelievable. And guys, so if you just go ahead and trust what you're seeing, Calvin Austin is almost unguardable. Because you see Sauce Gardner, he locked down some all-pro type wide receivers last year. He couldn't lock down Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin is fast. He just got injured last year. So I think this guy's going to evolve. And the reason why I'm willing to even go on the limb and say breakout, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't really care. They have evolved a lot of guys that have been late-round draft picks like Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders. And these guys evolved into elite guys, and they beat out the guy that was probably the #1 wide receiver that year. That's why they let Mike Wallace go, because they had Antonio Brown. And I think, and this is a little edgy, and I admit it, I could be wrong, I think Calvin Austin is on an Antonio Brown trajectory as far as in talent level and the type of build that they are. I think he could end up in the later half of this season, in the fourth quadrant, being the alpha wide receiver on this team where he's getting the underneath targets. Him and Pat Fairmouth. But like I said, I think Calvin Austin, guys, make sure you target him. He's probably undrafted in some of your leagues, or you can go spend a 6-round pick or a 7-round pick right now before he start hitting and get this guy for a little bit of nothing. So guys, yes, Calvin Austin.
Okay, I like that. So next guy on my list, this is somebody that I talked about last year. I probably was one of the first ones in the industry that was this early on this guy. A lot of people thought he was undersized for his position, and I know you can attest to this. You talked off camera about this even last year. I said he was better than his brother.
Right.
And at that time, that's huge. But the guy I'm talking about is James Cook. So, and the reason why I say that I think he's going to be a breakout this season is because Bean, he came out and said that, okay, first of all, let's back up. So initially, Brandon Bean wanted Christian McCaffrey, right? So they couldn't get him for whatever reason. I don't know if money or whatever the case may be. So they ended up drafting James Cook last season. They took him with a high draft capital too. Okay. Now you still had Singletary there last season, and James Cook had to get situated into this offense, get used to it and everything like that, as most rookies do. But we saw the trajectory later in the season where he started to progress.
Right.
And then you saw how they were trying to use him like a quote-unquote CMC, get him out of space.
Explosiveness, very explosive, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Hands are phenomenal,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
He, and in my opinion, the guy can run routes like a receiver.
He can.
He did it back, in college, right?
Yeah, Georgia.
You know what I'm saying? So this season, and Brandon Beane has been quoted in the offseason even saying that this was back in training camp when they were talking to him, and he said to a reporter, the reporter asked him how was James Cook going to be used this year, and he said that he was going to get an increase in targets. And so the reporter also rebutted back, and he asked me, he said, so you mean he's going to be able to take carries, blah, blah, blah? He said it's not about the carries. He said targets and touches. So that lets me know they're going to use him in multiple ways. I'm not worried about Latavius.
Right.
He might not even make the team.
Right.
He's just a count body, in my opinion, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, and then you got, who's it, Damian Pierce?
Damian Harris.
Damian Harris,
Right.
right. They brought Damian Harris in. Okay. He could fill the Singletary role to a certain degree.
Right.
But he's not going to be able to, even if Damian Harris gets, let's say he gets 15 carries a game, right? That still has nothing to do with what James Cook is going to do
In this offense.
You feel me?
Right.
They're going to line him up in the slot. They're going to do all type of things with him. He's pretty much going to be another receiver, basically.
Right.
So James Cook, I mean, I don't really like to do a lot of projections, so to speak. But in my mind, I could see him anywhere from, I think he might catch 80 balls this year. That's how explosive and versatile I think that this guy could be within this offense. So you're looking at something like that, he could be anywhere from a top 15 running back, maybe even the top 10 in PPR. So that's what I see him as being this season in this offense.
Right. I love James Cook. I think he's one of my top 0 RB targets. I got him on my 0 RB target list. I love that the way they're gonna use him.
Right.
He's a perfect 0 RB target.
Oh, yeah,
like a
yeah,
Jerick
yeah.
McKinnon type,
Exactly.
where you can go and stat your team, and then James Cook your first running back, and then he end up having them boom weeks. You're gonna be unstoppable with a Tyreek or Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. These type of guys with a James Cook breaking out. I love it, man. That's a great pick to me. All right, guys, so moving on to my number 3 guy. And I talked about this guy for 3 years. Also, Mac has talked about this guy for 3 years. And this guy is Antonio Gibson. Now listen, Antonio Gibson have had some good years, but not really broke out because of Ron Rivera talking about how he doesn't protect the ball. But I think that was perspective. He wasn't being used right. I think he should be used like a Debo type. I think he's a better Debo, if you ask me. So guys, it's Antonio Gibson. Yes, Antonio Gibson. The reason why I think Antonio Gibson is going to be breaking out, guys, is because of Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is going to make Antonio Gibson one of the best running backs in the league because of the skill set Antonio Gibson has. Guys, catching balls out in space, and you 220 pounds, the safeties and corners don't want to tackle that. And Eric Bieniemy knows how to do that Andy Reid screens and when to call them. He's learned that through Andy Reid, right? And it also, Eric Bieniemy is a very tough coach. He's hard on guys far as protecting the ball and being a fundamentally sound running back. That's where Eric Bieniemy, he came up in that era. So that's what he's going to do for Antonio Gibson. Also, I don't care what anybody says. He took this job because he saw Antonio Gibson and he saw other weapons there that he could groom and give him a type of Kansas City environment. So I believe Antonio Gibson, if he stays healthy, it's going to be a top 12 running back, and he's going to be a PPR monster and also a 0 RB target.
I love that pick, man. And like you said, we've both been on this guy for a few years now, and it is a travesty in what has transpired the last 2 seasons under Ron Rivera for whatever reasons, man. But at any rate, yeah, that was a great pick. So to kind of piggyback off of that with the same team, the next guy I want to talk about is Logan Thomas. And it's kind of almost the same reasoning to a certain degree, like what you were saying about Antonio Gibson. Logan Thomas is going to be accentuated like we've never seen before. Listen, let me back up. To give more credit, Eric Bieniemy is going to be, he's going to show his true skill set, right, as a coach.
Right.
People are going to finally start seeing it. And listen, it's nothing to take away from Andy Reid. Andy Reid's a genius.
Right.
But Eric Bieniemy is a genius in his own right. And a lot of this offense that you saw in Kansas City was orchestrated by Eric Bieniemy.
Yes, sir.
That's why the Commanders went out and got him. And that's why I think Logan Thomas is going to have an exceptional year. Now listen, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be Travis Kelce, by no means. But here's the thing. The same way that they use Travis, that's the way they're going to use Logan Thomas. Now, people fail to forget, I know you know this, a few years ago, Logan Thomas was a fantasy viable tight end when he was healthy, right?
Right.
So, okay, boom. First, as long as he's healthy, I think Logan Thomas could finish as probably the third best tight end in the league behind Kelce and maybe Hawkinson, and then Logan Thomas. Reason why I say that is, again, Eric Bieniemy is going to orchestrate and going to put him in positions to get in space and to cause mismatches.
Right.
And then the target volume. So if you look back, I want to say when Eric Bieniemy, I think 2018 to 2022 was when he was, the OC, right?
Right.
You look at those numbers. Go back and look at the numbers with Travis Kelce and the whole tight end room. That was a crucial cog in their offense.
Right.
These guys, and especially Travis Kelce, he garnered a lot of this target volume. But you're looking at between anywhere from 150 to 120 targets a year. That's a lot of target volume.
Right.
And right now, I think it's Cole Turner. That's like maybe the second tight end they got down there. Logan Thomas is head and shoulders above him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he is the guy at the tight end position, and I think he's going to be able to inherit some of that target volume. And I think, like I said, he has a chance to break out this season.
I like that because you're right. They know how to get tight ends open because Eric Bieniemy did it in Kansas City. And he also can teach Logan Thomas how to evolve his route running like a Travis Kelce.
Exactly.
So I like that, man. That's great. That's cutting edge content right there. Sure. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. This is cutting edge content. Okay. So, guys, my fourth guy is a quarterback. And my fourth guy that I believe is going to break out this season is Daniel Jones. Now, listen, I've been putting videos out, and those videos are not hitting the algorithms like I think they should, but that's fine. I understand it. You might not believe that, and I could be off. But I'm going to stand strong on it. I believe it 100% of my heart and soul that Daniel Jones is going to evolve because of what Brian Daboll has done with past quarterbacks. Josh Allen was a phenom athlete, but he wasn't manufactured into being a great quarterback yet. And he evolved him into that. And I think that's what Daniel Jones needed. That's why I love what the Giants did when they hired Brian Daboll. So I think Daniel Jones could have over 500 yards rushing and over 25 passing touchdowns and lower than 10 interceptions, which to me will put him as a top 12 quarterback. And I think he has also a chance to boom that and be an MVP candidate. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go put $500 on Daniel Jones to be an MVP guy, but would I put $50 on that if I had it to spare? Yes, I would, because you probably can return crazy value on that. Yeah. So, guys, remember, I said it here first. I think Daniel Jones has a chance to win MVP. I think he's going to break out this season. This team and the play calling is going to be crucial. I love Darren Waller being there, and I love these fast, little twitchy wide receivers, which Brian Daboll have and he likes to use, and also Jalen Hyatt pushing the safeties back. So, yeah, Daniel Jones, guys.
I love that. That's cutting edge, man. And I know we've had conversations about that. And I admit you're one of the only ones in the industry that I know of personally that talented Daniel Jones, especially last season.
Right.
So, yeah, I have to give credit on that, bro. So, next guy I want to talk about is Jonathan Mingo for the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
Now, this is a rookie. This is probably the only rookie that I know that I have on my list. But here's the thing. Jonathan Mingo, his skill set, man, he's a big 6'2", 220-pound guy, right?
Right.
He's more than a 50-50 guy. That's where a lot of analysts and a lot of people want to give him that label.
Right.
He's bigger than that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Literally and figuratively. His skill set and his route running, in my opinion, when I did film study on him, phenomenal. Now, I'm not going to put him on the tier because, I got separate tiers of, route runners, right?
Right.
The top, the elite right now, for me, is somewhere like Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley, people like that.
Right.
He's not on that tier, but he's somewhere kind of like on the next second or third tier.
Right.
He is a great route runner. But the key and the thing for me is what Frank Wright's going to be able to do. Now Mingo can learn under Adam Thielen.
Right.
Great
route runner.
Yep. Choice routes, all those things that to be able to get out in space and be able to use your skill set. He's going to learn that from Adam Thielen.
Right.
So that's going to be key and crucial. But the key for me is his hands. And Bryce is going to be able to depend on him as a safety valve, right?
Right.
So going into this rookie season for both of them, but especially for the quarterback, you got to have people that you can depend on to be able to dump it off to be able to hit a slant here or there, to get the chains moving and to keep your numbers correct. Because listen, the franchise don't want to be wrong.
Right.
I'm not saying they're going to be wrong on Bryce Young, but they want him to look as good as possible.
Right.
And what's the best way to do that? You got to target people that that's going to be there and be reliable.
Right.
And I think Jonathan Mingo's going to be a reliable receiver.
Right.
So I think he can break out.
Right. And guys, excuse us, we are outside, so we're going to try to talk over somebody's more in the yard right in front of us. So hopefully this will end very quickly. Alright, thank you guys for being patient. So, going on to my last guy, guys. This guy, I've made plenty of videos on him, and I think I'm one of the first guys to be on him too.
Yeah.
Because I think I was, like 3 or 4 weeks after the season?
I think so.
I started talking about this guy.
Yep.
And this guy is a running back, and it's Samardri Perine. Guys, and reason why I'm so bold on Samardri Perine is because of the Javonte Williams injury. It's only one running back that I've ever seen in my whole life that could come back off a knee injury and be relevant. And it's been Adrian Peterson. As my homeboy always say, he's a Nephilim.
Yeah.
And so I'm not gonna sit there and this video is not about Breach Hall, but I don't think he's a Nephilim, and I don't think Javonte Williams is a Nephilim. Now, are they good running backs? Don't get it twisted. The boys they can run. They good, but they coming off an injury where running backs like with knees, it takes them a while. You see, J.K. Dobbins was still explosive, but he was hopping and he couldn't even extend the knee out. Yep. So guys, don't be Breach. Listen, you draft Breach in Dynasty, but don't be dependent on him to win you a league. Now listen, if he does it, I will stand corrected. I'm like, this guy is a Nephilim. He can heal very fast. So I'm not worried about no Javonte Williams. I'm not worried about Dalvin or anything. They paid Samardri. Last year, guys, I wasn't a Samardri truther. I loved Joe Mixon in college over Samardri. I'm like, Samardri just a backup guy for the rest of his career. And this guy been working so hard and evolving his skill set that he is a starting running back in the league now. And he's going to be one of these running backs that end up having a good career down the stretch of his career because he's worked on his game. He's a great pass protector. He catch passes out the backfield, and he can make you miss, and he runs hard, and he has nice size. So Samardri Perine is a top 12 running back. I'm loving him for a 0 RB target and a breakout season.
That's a great pick, man. And to your point, yeah, I remember you talking about him heavily last season, especially at the end of the season, man.
Yep.
And real quick to kind of echo on that, Sean Payton, he called Samaje. He recruited him. See, a lot of people, they don't know that, man. He actually, and he told him, it was quoted, I can't remember the source, but at any rate, he was talking to him and he said, hey, you know what I do with running backs down here?
Right.
And pretty much it's like a dual back system, but they're very effective.
Right.
They have specific roles, but they're very effective.
Yes. It don't matter about we used to worry about target share with running backs, but it's all about what I call the honey touches and the goal line touches and the green zone touches. I'm just worried about touchdowns. That's what it was about. Running backs. How many running backs have we had that finished under 1,000 yards but still was the RB1? Alvin Kamara's done it like twice.
Right.
He didn't have 1,000 yards rushing, but he still was the RB1 because he's getting the honey touches. He's scoring touchdowns. He's catching passes in a PPR league.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so my last guy I want to talk about is Elijah Moore from the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about him in multiple reasons. The main one is because the boy is hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the song? What was it? What boy said? Y'all must have forgot.
Yeah, Roy Jones.
Roy
Jr.
Jones.
Yep.
They must have forgot. Now listen, Elijah Moore was talented, heavily talented, coming into the league, right? They underused him for whatever reason in New York.
Right.
It was a travesty. Well, like I said, sometimes when certain doors close,
Another door opens.
you feel me?
Yep.
And I think this is a perfect opportunity for Elijah Moore to be in Cleveland, to be used in the slot. He is a perfect asset to Amari Cooper, DPJ, and Deshaun Watson,
Yes,
and
sir.
then with Njoku, right?
Right.
So now you got a ton of weapons that Deshaun Watson can target.
Right.
Elijah Moore is his skill set. You know, he's an elite route runner. He's got speed, burst, and listen. What I like about him too is his contact balance after the catch. When he catches the ball, man, sometimes he turns into a running back.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's not like a Debo who's going to look for contact, but he ain't gonna shy away from it either.
Right.
So when you get him out of space, he's gonna be a load to handle. You feel me?
Right.
So I really like Elijah Moore in this offense and what they're gonna do and the potential that he has with a Deshaun Watson. I think he could be a breakout this season.
Right. And if you remember, A.J. Brown said that Elijah Moore was better than him in college, and he was as a route runner. Now, A.J. Brown just special because when he touched the ball, he turns into a 220-pound wide receiver.
Yeah.
But as far as running routes and stuff, Elijah Moore is very, very gifted. Anticipation and all that, what it takes to be an all-around good wide receiver, he has it. It's just New York kind of faded him out because of different things, and he got mad at Zach Wilson, and they kind of just moved on from him. Yeah. So it is what it is. So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Fantasy Good Sports. Matt, you want to tell the guys again where to find you at?
Yeah, again, go to my Twitter, MattGalloway34, and you can find me on there, and then also at fantasyheadliners.com. Check me out.
And also, guys, sign up for my OnlyFans, only $10 a month. I got plenty of perks over there. You can get help with draft. I'll rate your team. Anything you need, guys. You want to make sure you sign up for my OnlyFans. So, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.